Hi, so I'm Emma,
I'm Luis.
and we're going to be doing our personal reflection part A.
So, first question: how did you prepare for your role in the musical? What other ways did you contribute to the overall production?
So, firstly, I was stage manager, Miss Luce,
Ms. Shiva?
Miss Shiva, and also just an extra and a tourist. And the way that I prepared for stage manager is that Nadia was stage manager, and so we were but she was really it. I was kind of like the assistant, and so basically I just helped her to sort of understand things that she would need to know, like how to call light cues and how to call sound cues. But for my actual acting performance, of course, I had to learn the lines, but I spent a lot of time like thinking about the costume, and we were tourists together,
Yes.
so we wanted to really do something with that time on stage. So we had multiple conversations about how we were going to dress, and because we wanted to be matching to kind of just be those tourists. So that's how I would say I prepared.
So, my roles in the musical were Mr. Skip Snip, the tourist, and the journalist. Yeah, as Emma said, the way that I prepared, I memorized my lines. Me and Emma, we had discussions on how to, having that costume to be an authentic tourist and make it funny for the audience. And my other role was kind of film chief, but it wasn't really chief. I just edited videos, and that was an easy process, especially with the team that I worked with, which was Usman and Manar, and they were very helpful. So, second question: what are three or more elements for a successful musical?
I think first of all, you have to have dedicated actors,
Yeah.
especially for your lead roles, because I think what happened in this musical is half of the cast didn't really get on board until the very end, which I think is very easy
Yeah.
when you don't have like a huge role, because it's like, oh, I can learn my lines in like 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. So I think you need to have dedicated actors. I think also you need to be able to see the whole picture, because as somebody who has like a small role but like multiple small roles, you have to see that you're contributing to the big picture of everything, and you're making the audience feel like they're actually encompassed in this life that is brought on stage by the actors. Third element, I would say it's important to have really good directors, and and I think Miss Mock and Mr. Posner did, leaders. I think they did a really good job in the fact they were allowed people to have creative kind of freedom, and you could change your role in any way that you wanted as long as it fit what your character was supposed to be. But I think they were also made sure that it made sense.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And to add on, I think you need a supportive team, which also goes with like actors who care. You support each other, you encourage each other, which I think was important. You saw Cami a lot of times encouraging Alan. She was like his vocal coach, and I think that was important. I think what makes a successful musical is also energy, and this again goes with the thing of caring. But like, even when you only have a small role, even when you're in the background, you should still have energy and have active faces and active motions. It goes with the thing like you have to feel like you are important to the musical, even if you have a small part. Like our tourist scene was like 10 seconds,
15.
but we still put in like all of our effort. And third, I think you said it all.
Yeah. Okay.
How did you feel about your performance? What went well?
Okay. I think for our performance as the tourist, I think it went really well in the fact that we just put on those characters, and it was really unexpected to have somebody like an extra be so prepared. But I think also, what could have gone better is every night there was an issue with the song The Meek Shall Inherit. And like one night the mic wasn't working, and I was so in my own head I didn't even realize that the mic wasn't working, so I wasn't projecting as if there was no mic. And so I think it was really hard for me to get the timing as well. But I think what went well in that is every time that something bad happened, I think everybody, including myself, kind of just went with it and I don't think the audience even noticed.
I agree. For The Tourist, I think what went well for my performance is, I think what went well with the what's the song? Michelle and Harry is that I think me, Keegan, and Emma, we all kind of encompassed like these three opposing characters that were all so distinct. You know, I was like the more crazy, she was the more seductive, and then Keegan was like sort of like the more quirky.
Yeah, I would say so.
And I think that worked really well. What could have been improved, I agree with the mics, and also I sort of, and this is a personal note for me. In the last night, I kind of regretted that, even though I thought Skip Snip was a really fun character, I think there was more space to like be loose a little more, like you know, like kind of let go of some sort of fear that I had and just really like portray my character as the crazy person he was. So fourth, what advice would you give students who are thinking about joining the musical class next year?
I think particularly for me, I wanted to be the main female role, and obviously wasn't chosen, but I think it's important to give it your all in the audition, regardless of what role you're going for. Because if you go for the biggest role, then you can't be disappointed with what you got because you know that you gave it your best. So I think do your best in the audition, and I think regardless of the role you get, you have to be 110% committed to the stage time that you have.
I agree. I think, you know, coming from the musical and yearbook, I definitely think that when you're working on a project that involves more than one person, it's important that you are committed and you're willing to come in on Saturdays and Sundays. You're willing to learn in your lines, because even if you have the smallest of parts, like if for me, Sean Harrod, if I didn't know my lines, like the whole scene would kind of be screwed up, even though I have like 3 minutes of singing. So it's important that you're committed to and you actually care about. And you actually care about that was Miss Monk. And you actually care about your role and the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
So the fifth question is, what do you think would be a good musical to perform at ISD next year? Why?
So we spent about 20 plus minutes looking online for a musical, and we have come upon
Alice in Wonderland.
Okay, I have to stop and then you say it.
Alice in Wonderland, it's a cast of 16. Well, according to this website, cast of 16. Mm-hmm. It's like $7.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah,
but you know.
And it's 100 minutes, which is.
It's a pretty good.
Like an hour and
length.
40 minutes, which is like.
It's not bad.
It's like a little longer than.
Yeah.
Little Show of Horse. But yeah, it's fun. It has, I think, fun characters, and. Yeah, it's like a fun.
And you were saying basically how you thought that. Shows that had like a magical element.
Yeah.
It was easier for the cast to
like get funky.
Yeah.
Like when you have serious roles, like the cast, I feel like more pressure because they have to play seriously. But when you have like the Mad Hatter, like the cat, and the rabbit,
and like just fun roles where you can assume something that like you would never be.
Yeah. More.
And I think a final note to like next year's musical is I think you need to be more like I feel like if you guys were more selective about like cast and like who was able to be in the class, I think you would have gotten rid of a lot of like extra time that was wasted during rehearsal, like getting mad at people because they didn't know their lines or they didn't know where they were supposed to be, and then you could actually focus on the kids who are really trying. And honestly, the show that we did this year didn't need as many people.
But yeah, that's it.
That's our.
Like goodbye.
That's our assessment.